You can be shocked by the FBI raid of John Bolton's Maryland home on Friday morning, but you should not be surprised for a bunch of reasons. Let me outline them. Number one, this feud between John Bolton and Donald Trump has been a long time simmering. And number two, Donald Trump has made plain repeatedly that he believed the Department of Justice should basically do his bidding and prosecute his political enemies, which is what this is. Okay, so let's go through it. So the Bolton Trump story starts when Bolton is appointed National Security Advisor in the first Trump term. Bolton had a long record, very hawkish, conservative, long record in sort of conservative national security and foreign policy circles. He is out after 17 months. He is either fired or resigns before he was fired. It depends on whose account you believe, in September 2019. That begins a long saga because Bolton turns rapidly into one of Donald Trump's most prominent critics. So by June of 2020, the White House, the Trump White House, sues Bolton to try to stop the publication of a book about his time in the White House called The Room Where It Happened. The allegation at the time was Bolton was violating a deal he had signed that allowed the White House to review the book. Bolton said the White House was slow walking that review so that the book couldn't come out. The White House also said that Bolton had used classified information in the book. This will all ring familiar. A judge dismisses that suit. The book comes out on June 23rd, 2020. Well, in September of 2020, the White House opens I should say this. I don't want to ever not read a relevant Donald Trump tweet. So in June 23rd, 2020, which is the day the book comes out, Donald Trump said this: "Washed up creepster John Bolton is a lowlife who should be in jail, money seized for disseminating for profit highly classified information. Remember what they did to the young submarine sailor, but did nothing to crooked Hillary. I ended up pardoning him. It wasn't fair." Okay, so just keep that in mind. In September of that year, so September 2020, the Department of Justice, again, this is still the Trump administration, opened a criminal investigation into Bolton, saying that he had unlawfully disclosed classified information. Again, sound familiar? So Trump loses. And Bolton remains sort of one of his most prominent critics and has remained so to this day. Fast forward to Friday morning when we learn that the FBI is conducting a raid at Bolton's house in Maryland, very early morning raid. Kash Patel, the FBI director, saying, no one is above the law on X to announce this raid. And this, I think, will ultimately turn out to be the long arc of what began in September 2019 when Bolton was either fired or resigned. And then, in June when the book came out and Trump reacted the way he did, in September when that Department of Justice investigation began. Donald Trump has made plain that people who cross him, people who he views as enemies, political or otherwise, will be targeted by his Department of Justice. Now, the fact that his Department of Justice authorized a raid of Bolton's house, I think, is particularly ironic over classified information. If you remember back to 2022, the raid at Mar-a-Lago, this was a raid designed to get classified information that Donald Trump had retained unlawfully. Trump at the time insisted it was a massive political overreach and sued for $100 million, claiming malicious political prosecution. So fast forward, 3 years, and Donald Trump or at least Donald Trump's Department of Justice is involved in a raid over classified information of a former Trump administration official. I mean, I think it's impossible not to see the politics in this. I mean, I feel like if you don't see the politics in this, you're not paying any attention. Now, we'll see. Did John Bolton do something wrong? We don't totally know that yet. I will say the past attempts to stop his book from being published and those sorts of things were thrown out, that prosecutors and judges were dismissive of it. But, I mean, I'm always, we'll see. I don't want to prejudge it. But I do think, again, you can be shocked, but you should not be surprised. Donald Trump does not like John Bolton. Donald Trump views John Bolton as a bad guy. Donald Trump has wanted to get John Bolton at least since he knew John Bolton was writing a book that painted him and his administration in a very unfavorable light. The long arc of it is coming due today. We'll see what comes in the future. Like everything with Trump, his critics will say, and I think I'm in this, his critics will say politicizing the Justice Department and the FBI is a very dangerous thing. I'm in that camp. His allies will say, well, if John Bolton did released leaked classified information or unlawfully held it or withheld it, he deserves to be prosecuted. I like I said, I'm in the former camp there. I think when we go down the road of using the Department of Justice to weaponize and target your political enemies, and I know the Trump people will say, well, Biden did it first. Okay, even if I grant that, which I don't really want to, but even if I grant that, tit for tat isn't going to get us anywhere. But this is clearly has politics and political fingerprints and Donald Trump's fingerprints all over it. And this is going to be a gigantic story. We'll see what Bolton says. We'll see what this raid finds. My guess is I actually don't know. I'm not going to make a guess, but stay tuned. Do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. You will get free content every single day just like this, and I'll continue to grow as an independent news creator. Thanks so much. Take care.